Yeah, most people look at history and see heroes. I look at history and see system stability. By 207 AD, the Imperial Han system, which had operated for over 400 years, suffered a hard crash. Centralized management had vanished. Cao Cao was not merely a man, he was a monopolist who had seized all critical infrastructure. He held the land, the grain, and the emperor, the world. If you were an investor, how would you view Liu Bei? He was a penny stock that had been crashing for 20 years. No product, no territory, nothing left but a fading reputation. I spent 10 years in seclusion at Longzhong. I wasn't just reading ancient texts, I was performing data mining. I was observing the vulnerabilities in the system. I was calculating in a market of absolute monopoly. When Liu Bei finally reached me, I didn't tell him how to win. I told him how to pivot. I said, when Cao Cao has millions under his command, he holds the emperor to dictate to the lords. This is a competitor you cannot challenge head on. In business terms, never enter a red ocean where the incumbent holds a total monopoly. I demanded that he perform a market segmentation. Jingzhou was the logistics hub. Yizhou was the natural fortress. Abandon the empty prestige of the north and capture the undervalued southern markets. This is the essence of the Longzhong Plan. When you cannot win on scale, you must win on sector positioning. Zhuge Liang's logic was perfectly mirrored 1,800 years later by Netflix. In 2000, Netflix faced the brick and mortar giant Blockbuster. Netflix didn't try to open stores, they pioneered the streaming sector. While the powerful incumbent was harvesting the old market, Netflix dug a moat in the new one. Zhuge Liang defined a unicorn growth curve for Liu Bei before the term even existed. Liu Bei visited me 3 times. On the final visit, I pushed a 10-year industry report across the table. This document would later be mythologized as the Longzhong Plan. I told him, Mr. Liu, Cao Cao has monopolized the traditional track in the north. He is the blockbuster of this industry. If you fight him head on, you will go bankrupt. What you need is a market pivot. The provinces of Jing and Yi were underdeveloped, but Cao Cao couldn't reach them and Sun Quan didn't value them. They were the only unicorn gaps left in the world. Just like Netflix in the early 2000s, while the giant Blockbuster dominated the physical rental market, Netflix chose the unproven streaming track. This was Zhuge Liang's logic: avoid the competitor's strengths and open a niche market they cannot quickly enter. Zhou Yu demanded 100,000 arrows in 3 days. In a modern corporate setting, we call this constructive dismissal. He didn't want the third day, dawn, thick fog. My partner Lu Su was terrified. He asked, what if Cao Cao charges out? I told him, you don't understand Cao Cao. He is a CEO. This maneuver is known in Silicon Valley as growth hacking. The classic case is PayPal. In its early days, PayPal lacked users. They built a bot to pose as buyers on eBay, demanding that sellers accept PayPal. They leveraged the competitor. Zhu Yu gave me an impossible deadline. In traditional supply chain management, this was a dead end. But what if we stop thinking about production and start thinking about leverage? I used the fog market noise and Cao Cao's paranoia to execute a perfect arbitrage. I didn't spend a single cent on raw materials. I simply leveraged the competitor's fear to complete my inventory accumulation. In its early days, Airbnb used an algorithm to cross-post listings to Craigslist. They used the competitor's infrastructure, Cao Cao's arrows, to achieve exponential growth. This was the original growth hack. Finally, the city of Xicheng. I had not a single soldier by my side. This was the greatest black swan defense of my life. Why did Sima Yi refuse to enter? Because for 20 years, I had built a brand equity worth more than gold: prudence. He didn't lose to me, he lost to his own risk assessment model. He calculated that Zhuge Liang never takes risks, therefore, the open gate must be a trap. When the Fed chairman speaks during a crisis, the market stabilizes. not because of his money, but because of his credibility. Zhuge Liang's music was the ultimate market signal. This system, it is finally shutting down. Eko, I can feel my mainframe overheating. It has been 27 years since that afternoon in Longzhong. I haven't stopped calculating for a single second. Dexia, 5 second silence. People ask, why push yourself so hard? Why? Because I took over a company that was already bankrupt. What Liu Bei left me was a wreckage with no resources, no hinterland, and nothing but an abstract vision. I have used my own life force to write this anti-fragility code. I am not dying. I am just reaching the limit of my hardware. I am performing the final audit. The silhouette of Cao Cao appears. Cao Cao, you won on scale, but you lost on succession. You built a system dependent on your individual tyranny. Once you are gone, your family corporation will crumble. This is the centralization trap. The ghosts of Guan Yu and Zhang Fei appear, my brothers. You were the ultimate individual contributors, but you never understood systematic governance. Guan Yu, your pride was a logic bug in the system. It crashed my Jingzhou data center. Ma Su appears. Ma Su, I didn't execute you because you lost a battle. I executed you because you corrupted the system integrity. If the law can be modified by personal emotion, the system is no longer worth trusting. Why keep attacking? Wei's resources are 10 times ours. In economics, this is called active defensive mode. If I keep attacking, Wei is forced to maintain massive defense spending, increasing their internal friction. Meanwhile, Shu, though small, operates with extreme efficiency through my SOPs and logistic automation. I used efficiency to fight scale. My 6 expeditions were not for conquest. They were to extend the life cycle of a fragile system in the shadow of a giant. I was fighting against the entropy of a dying empire. A great architect does not seek power, he seeks sustainability. Before his death, Zhuge Liang open sourced his entire algorithm. His military formations became the textbooks for 1,000 years of generals. His integrity became the North Star for civil services. Zhuge Liang looks into the camera. My hardware is turning off, but this algorithm will be loaded into the mind of every entrepreneur and strategist who follows. As long as humanity needs to win against the odds, my code will run. The servers of history will change, but the algorithm is eternal. If you have watched until this moment, it means your system is ready to receive this Eastern strategic algorithm. Golden buttons for like, subscribe, and share glow on screen. Like this video, it is an upvote for 1,000 years of wisdom. Subscribe to this channel. It is a real-time sync between your mind and this think tank. Share this video. It is an open source distribution, helping every founder struggling in the fog to find their grass boats. I am Zhuge Liang. I am at Wuzhang Plains, and I am within your every calculation. Next time we decode my greatest rival, Sima Yi, we will see how he used extreme silence to harvest an entire era. Screen fades to black. System status, upload complete. See you in the next version.